Hello, welcome to Freud Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got EBBRO's Citroen Mobile Kitchen. This is the Hvac, absolutely iconic vehicle. Now, if you're like me, you've probably never heard of EBBRO. EBBRO's not one of those companies which you immediately think of. You know, they have been around quite a while now and all the rest of it, but they actually release very detailed kits. They can be a little bit expensive, we're not going to lie to you there, but the quality is absolutely phenomenal. And if you're like me and never seen one before, it's quite an eye-opener. Now, this particular guy, it took me literally by surprise. I never thought this kit was available. You might know they do the actual crepe van. That's crepe, which is the yellow version, but doesn't have the full interior. This one, though, is their mobile kitchen, which actually comes with a full interior. So, having a quick look around the box. This is a 1/24 scale kit. As you said, full interior with this one, including the food, the signage, everything you basically see on here. We've got a few details, which clearly I can't read, okay? So, for the educated among you, okay, it's down in there. All right, so your kit number for this one is 25008 or 6400. Okay, and that is what you're looking to expect. If we look on the close-up, you can actually see full interior details of an actual mobile kitchen, including all the bits and pieces you see down there as well. Okay, so something very, very nice. So in the box, we just get the lid off. We can see it's a funny colour plastic. Okay, to be honest, I have looked inside the box purely because I was that intrigued, but don't put you off. Okay, so we just get some of the bags out the way. As you can see, it is stuffed full of plastic down in here. Okay, and obviously we have got some very nice little touches which we'll look at in a moment. So we've got a little bit of photo etch, we've got some various things, we've got all the signages and those types of things down in here. Okay, and we have the box. So, looking at the old instructions, they are the sort of pull-out style. So, usual blurb on the front, so it actually talks about the actual vehicle itself just down in here if you want to read a little bit about it. We've got the actual parts call out, as you can imagine, pretty straightforward, just down in there like that, and then we're going into the basics of it. So it does actually come with you know, an actual engine. It's a very basic engine, but it does actually come with it, and it's obviously talking about the wheels and the hubs and the sensors and everything going down in there. Got the sub-assembly down here on the bottom, and then it does come with a little bit of running gear, but as you said, it's more of the basic variety than a fully detailed one. Okay, then you've got the actual chassis system underneath, locking that all together. A nice touch. Rear axle, and then obviously we've got polycaps holding the wheels on as well. Very nice touch. Then we're going through to the exhaust system. So the exhaust system being fitted down in there, threaded underneath the actual axle itself. Then we've actually got the floor plan being set on here. Okay, so pretty straightforward stuff there. Then working our way up then into the actual cab itself, we've got the actual mechanics of it. So we've got the actual seat framing going down on there. We've got the pedals, the stick, the handbrake, usual things of those going down on there. And then obviously the steering column coming up, being fitted to the dashboard, doing it obviously the body colour. And then we've got decals for the actual instrument panels and some of the little signages around. Then this is the actual front of the cab, which has got the actual driver system being put in there, the actual dashboard being fitted in, sun visors, glass, all the bits and pieces you might expect down in here. And then we've actually got the bulkhead being fitted in. Tricky to get these all in. Then you're actually building up the actual frame itself. So we've got the front of the cab being fitted down in there, then the internals going down in there as well. All right, being fitted through. Spare wheel is obviously going to be flicked through underneath as well. And then we're going through the motions of doing the wood deck areas, the actual countertops and the roof. Now the roof is a soft fit as well, so you're not going to be putting that down, gluing it down in place just so you can show it open as well. Then we've got all the various items going through. So we've got the cooker being fitted down in there, we've got the microwave, we've got the decked area, things like that, the glass cabinet display case, which we'll look at the moment. We've got the register, the coffee machine, we've got the back deck obviously coming open, so you've got all the various bits down on there. So we've got all the bits all hanging out. Then we've got lights, we've got actual pull handles, and all the extra fitteds, number plates, usual things you can imagine right the way around at the back. Okay, then to the back of the vehicle, we've actually got the back door as well, the fuel filler cap being fitted down on there, talking about making up the little display signage as well. And then the front end, we've got the cooling radiator being fitted on the front, the bumper, the grille, the optional extras, things like that. Got a little bit of photo etch part, which is actually for the actual footstep going up into it, which is giving you that sort of nice textured metal effect on there, the anti-slip checkerboard. Okay, and then down here at the back, as you say, you've got your windscreen wipers being fitted on, the lights, windows, doors, and all the other sections, as you might imagine, making your way through. Okay, so as you can see, it's not a shake and bake. It is a very nice, highly detailed kit, but what you're going to have to think about this one, I think more than other kits if you're doing it, is that certainly you're going to have to think about priorities about painting. When you're going to paint it, when are you going to do things as a whole, because obviously you've got lots of different colours going down in here, from that wooden interior to the ivory roof and things like that. Okay, so the actual checkerboard for the anti-slip and the actual side areas as well, very nicely done, very nicely textured. As you can see, it's not punched through, it's just literally photo etch, and again, that is beautifully done. Then we've got, I won't get these out because to be honest they're all going to be in there, but we've got the signages, which are decals, and we've got all the publicity type photos and things like that, as you might imagine, for all the different magazines and things. So all your items you're going to have on there. Okay, so they're down in there like that. We've got some clear plastic, which has obviously got the little film on, you'll peel off. This is for the display cases. Okay, so we've got some of those, so it's nice pieces of clear film. Okay, polycaps, as we might know, obviously right the way over this one. And then down on here, we've got the Citroen signs, and obviously the weightage ones on the back saying about it. And then we've got the number plates, various different options for that as well. Instrument panels as well, we've got different ones down in there, and some of these other ones. So again, it's this type of thing where it's a generic, you know, decal sheet for the different versions of this particular vehicle. So where are we going to start? I'll tell you what, let's start down here and some of the smaller little chromed parts. So down these are pre-chromed, or electroplated. Okay, very nicely done indeed. So down here we've got mirrors, windscreen wipers, and then some of the smaller little items on here for the various parts. As you can see, very nicely done, no problem with that at all. Remember, a lot of people worry about cleanup on these. Moto pen, beautiful. It'll give that same look with just a swipe of a pen, so make sure you have a look at the review for that. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, that's, I'll tell you what, we're starting the cab. Okay, these are stapled bags, so we'll try and get in these as best we can. Okay, clever injection moulding. You can probably see how they've done that. That's how it would have been moulded, flat, and then they've done it from an angle to get all these parts into here. So actually that's very, very clever way of doing that. But it gives you an idea of the scale of this thing as well. It's not going to be a tiny little kit, it's going to be something quite large, but generally very nice indeed, very thin. You can probably see my finger, or hopefully you see my finger through the other side of that. That's how thin moulding that is. Very, very nicely done. Very strong, very crisp, very sharp sounding plastic. Spoken about that recently. Do like that. That's very, very nice indeed. But again, no signs of flash or burring or anything else like that. Very clean, crisp moulding indeed. Again, it's an interesting colour of plastic they're using, but, you know, whatever works. Okay, so this is sprue A, as you can see. So we've got the wheels down on here. A little bit closer, you can see we've got the wheels, nicely done, the hubs, things like that. Some of the actual transmission and running gear, as you can imagine, down here on the front. Again, it's funny because this plastic is so clear, you can see your fingers through it. But there we go, so we've got the exhaust pipe running around on the back, some of those grab handles, number plate, headlights, things like that. Some of the transmission, sorry, the running gear underneath here, so we've got the steering arms, things like that. The engine, little engine down on here, we've got the front bumper, instrument panel, as we were saying, down on there as well, so that's quite a nice little touch right the way through. Again, no real burring on these sprues at all. Very, very cleanly moulded, no problem at all. The ejector pins, although they're there, they're all tucked out of the way quite nicely. None of them are in any way that are going to cause any problems. Again, I think a lot of this is the colour of the plastic makes it look very flimsy and cheap. Actually, it's very crisp. It's just that, you know, if it was in grey styrene or something else like that, I think it would give it a better look, shall we say. Okay, so flooring, you can see just straightforward down on here like that. Ejector pins will all be buried out the way. We've got the actual cab bottom as well, right the way through, just like that. Okay, and again, nice that sort of fluxed effect of the plastic. Very, very nice, no problem at all with any of that. Then we've got these side parts, we've got the seats, the bars running right the way through, the running gear, so we've got the shifter stick, we've actually got the handbrake, and we've got the pedals. Very nice indeed. And then we've got the top part, sorry, the bottom part, this is the actual steering arms and everything else, which will go through to that other one and sandwich all together. Again, really odd because it's funny where you can see your hand. Hopefully the camera can see your hands through the plastic. It's weird. Very, very odd. Never dealt with plastic like this before. Okay, so more of this stuff. So again, we've got the doors, that very famous sort of corrugated metal doors right the way through. The grille, which actually has got holes behind it. You can probably see my hand behind it. Very, very finely done that is. That's very clever. I thought it was just because it was badly moulded, but it's not. Those are individual veins, extremely thin. You can see my fingers through it. Very nicely done. Steering wheel, some more gear, the bonnet type area, all of these things. Very, very nice indeed. Yeah, actually, very sharp kit. But again, it's just this plastic. I won't bother getting these out because we can see them just like this, but as you can probably see, we've got the side. So this is the back of the van, obviously where the fuel cap is, and then the front with that two-part split, as you might imagine, for when this lifts up to give you a roof. Okay. Same with this one. Again, you can see my hand right the way through it. Again, we won't bother really getting these out. Very clean, very nicely moulded. In fact, we will get this out just to prove a point. How some companies can take extremely thin parts, like this part here for this roof. You have to imagine that's quite complex. It's got a checker, well not a checker, but a ribbed section right the way over it, and it's ribbed on the inside, but there is no ejector pins on this apart from tiny minute ones. You might be able to catch them in the light just there. So we've got a couple of ejector pins there and one there, very, very fine. And we've got bar ones just on the edges to get this out of the mold, but you can probably see it's extremely well done to get that clean, and something so thin you can probably still see my fingers through it, weirdly. Okay, but that is very, very odd to get something so thin as that right the way through. This is definitely not just, you know, clear plastic. It's very, very thin, so it gives it great sort of scale effect and things like that. Very clever. Okay, so technically what you've got in those parts is the Hvac. Okay, so you get, if you went for the crepe version, that's what you're going to get. This here is the bits for everything else. Okay, so we got, so this is really the interior section, which takes the normal sort of Hvac to be in the mobile kitchen. Okay, so what you've got down in here, these, yeah, okay, it's pretty standard. It's not as good quality, I would say, as that is of moulding, but it is what it is. But we've got big old ejector pins under here. You're not going to see any of that, but this is for working out the actual kitchen. So we've got some trays down in here, weirdly enough. We've got some baguettes down in here. We've got some croissants, some donuts, and your general pastries. Okay, and we've got obviously some various items for the kitchen area, just like that. Okay, so again, really very, very nicely done. It's a nice touch. And then we've got all the other stuff, so this is part of it as well. So this is that side section in the front for the actual kitchen area. So this will be your display cabinet, I would have thought, things like that down in here. And then up here we've actually got pots and pans, we've got mugs, we've got the espresso maker we were talking about, we've got the cash register, microwave, the cooker top, and then down in here again we've got more food. So we've got more baguettes and pastries and various things. We've got bottles and trays, croissants, things like that down on there as well for making it all up. And then obviously this is the back kitchen wall, I assume, which where all your mugs and your various things are going to go in the back. Again, really very nice. And the first time we've actually seen ejector pins that are going to show. You're probably going to have things in the way like mugs and things in there, but if you're not, you just want to make sure your positioning is good just to hide those out of the way. More of this one, so this is that rear table section on this one, and then the other counters, things like that. So as you can see, very nice wood grain texture. Gonna catch it in the light. Is it not going to catch? Come on. It should. Just trying to. Very difficult. It's very fine to see. There it goes. So you've got some nice wood grain texture down in there. So we've got the signage and the other parts as well, which make up the actual kitchen section. Okay, so glass bottles. So you've got your bottles of pop and your various other items all down in here. Cleverly done. Very nicely done. We have got a couple of bubbles inside them, to be honest. Only on a few of them, but they have actually got some injection bubbles in there, so they're not crystal clear like you might find from other manufacturers, things like that. We've got some glasses down in here, some little glass beakers. Very nice indeed. Okay, last up is the clear parts. So normally you're thinking on this it should be pretty good because they're flat. And yeah, they are, as you can see on the overhead, we've got no distortion really in anywhere whatsoever. Can't see any problems with any of those. So we've got headlights, things like that. You've got that sort of Pharrell lens effect into the headlights as well, so that's really nice indeed. Really, really very clear parts. And there we go. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Phil, but I build armour and I build aircraft and sci-fi. Why am I going to build a kitchen? Actually, this is just one of those ones where the creative modeler out there could do so much with this. You could put it into a diorama, obviously, but just as a standalone item with all the bits around it and with the food done and the countertops, loaded up with produce and all these things, and you could scratch build more stuff. You could go on with it further to give it more stuff inside. I think it would be something really, really special. So again, if you're just a little bit tired with building armor or aircraft and you want to do something different, or even if you are a vehicle guy and that's what you build, you're going to absolutely love this kit. It's beautifully detailed. The parts are extremely crisp, very, very thin, very much in scale, I would have said, things like that. But just taking it to that next level of having it all opened up with everything else on show, I think would make a really nice talking point. So there we go. That is EBBRO's 1/24th scale. That's the Citroen Hvac mobile kitchen version.